frontrunner Trump calls on his party to ditch the primaries and just back him for president. And while his former aides have voters on red alert,
I think everybody should vote for Joe Biden if they want our democracy to survive.
why aren't more Republicans endorsing other candidates? And could House Speaker Mike Johnson's relationship with the former president impact the next election?
I'm all in for President Trump.
And Emmy winner Sarah Paulson talks about her transformative on-screen performances and getting back on Broadway for the first time in over a decade. Here come Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Anna Navarro, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Alyssa Farah Griffin. Now, let's get things started.
Before we start, do I have something on the teeth?
No.
Okay.
No,
because I've got on some, I feel like I have a lot of lipstick.
No.
And so I'm trying to talk without touching my teeth.
No, all of us are. I don't know. No, you're good.
No, everybody's good. Everybody's good. So, you know who continues to call the Republican front runner, and now he's telling the party to stop wasting time with other candidates. Just cancel the primaries, he says, and back him. Spoken like a true dictator.
Yeah.
His former aides are screaming from the rooftops about how another term would mean the end of democracy. So why is the silence still so deafening from the other Republicans? I mean, why isn't anyone endorsing another candidate?
Well, as someone who's shouted from the rooftops about this, I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. And the two most common questions I get are how is Trump still so powerful and why haven't more people spoken out against him? And I think I know the answer to it. It is money and power.
Right.
So there is a multi-billion-dollar industry around Donald Trump in a way that never existed with really any other politician in our lifetime. Yes, he controls the RNC and the other party committees, the NRSC, the NRCC, but there is a revolving door of basically political influencers who came about during the Trump era through him platforming them and him amplifying them. People like the Charlie Kirks and the Candace Owens, they wouldn't have existed without the MAGA side of things. And then you have the fact that there's think tanks that have been set up to perpetuate MAGAism. People are making so much money off of him despite the fact that he's lost for Republicans since 2018. I think at the end of the day, it's not so much even the fear factor. It is literally good for their bottom line. I think of some of the most prominent Trump backers, the Ted Cruz's, the Mike Lees, they were all against him in 2016. Then they realized, you know what? I'm actually going to be more powerful in the Senate and in the right-wing echo chamber if I just stand by him. That's why people don't speak out.
It's power before party.
It's power before, but I don't blame the voters because what happens is that because the people who are still supporting him, they turn on Fox News and they hear lies. They hear that the election was stolen. They turn to their favorite right-wing influencer or their elected senator who lies to them. I don't blame the voters. They got jobs to do. They've got things going on, but people around them in positions of power just keep lying.
Yeah. What I don't understand is like he actually posted on social media, great polls just released, best ever. Trump at 67%, DeSanctimonious 9%, Bird Brain Nikki Haley 8%, Ramaswamy 5%. RNC must save money on lowest ever ratings debates. Use it against the Democrats to stop the steal. One thing, the RNC doesn't pay for the debates. The news organizations that host them do. So it's really scary that he doesn't know that, having been president for 4 years. And the other thing is, He's been indicted on 91 charges, some of those related in federal court to stop the steal, which he started on January 6th. And he is charged with that. So now he is admitting that is his slogan. Like, how dumb is this man? And why are people still supporting him? Like, I don't think...
For the reasons she just said.
See, I think it's more than that, actually. I think that certainly people are self-involved and self-invested and want power. And I also think, though, that a big part of this is rooted in white supremacy. I really do. And racism.
Racism and taxes. There's definitely a part of the Trump base that there is unquestionably racism, but 40 million people voted for him. I'm not convinced that many Americans are racist. I know people who voted for him who I know are not, but I think they've been lied to.
But the lying is continuous and unabating. Now he's got this osteopath saying that he's in perfect health.
Yes.
The guy is a rambling, sweating clown.
Yeah.
He's forced into a girdle and golf pants.
Yes.
And they're saying that is the pinnacle of health. And what does illness look like? And by the way, this other one, this Johnson person who was now the Speaker of the House, he goes around. I just saw him on the TV saying that he had a phenomenal first term. Trump, he goes, his first 2 terms, as you all know, we brought about the greatest economic numbers in the history of the world, and it turns out that he inherited a booming economy from Obama, which he then drove into the ground during the COVID crisis.
Yes, he did.
So this enabling Johnson, who I cannot stand him, he's like a right-wing religious zealot who wants the whole country to be Christian.
Research on him.
The country is not all Christians, okay? What's his first name?
Mike.
The other thing is, though, I don't know why these other Republican candidates aren't immediately endorsing someone else, because it may not move the needle, but at least you're spending a currency that's in your pocket. Because the fact that none of these people are coming out boldly and strongly and putting their votes and their people behind one of the other candidates, I know the polling looks bleak, but when Donald Trump says things like, let's stop, let's just jump to the end, just like you said, he doesn't even know the RNC doesn't pay for the debates. I don't think he realizes, and only that makes sense in the mind of a Donald Trump, that you could ever do that. We don't even have the first primary caucus until January 15th in Iowa. There's time. We have watched in the last several months how fast things change. Let's give everyone a beat to know them. We have known Donald Trump since the 80s when he was an awful real estate person, then The Apprentice, and then a really bad president. But now all we hear about is the indictments. He has the microphone. Everyone knows who he is. We need to keep putting other people forward to give them alternatives. I don't believe that when people get polled, I read an article that said a lot of times they just vent about what makes them unhappy. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily lead to a vote in the booth.
Not a
Let
single
it
vote
play out.
Yes.
And that's the part
I also want to point out the fact that is not how we work as government.
Right.
We're not a dictatorship. You can't say, "Oh, it's me," so you can't decide it's you. The people have to decide it's you. They're not going to let you do that. And it's important to know that just because you want it to happen, it doesn't happen that way. We have checks and balances, which has kept you in line. That's what's kept us from going over.
You're not always going to get what you want.
No, you're not.
But if he gets reelected, he will.
Well, listen, if he gets reelected, we deserve what we get.
Yeah.
If we put him back in, if he gets back in, we deserve what we got, because it meant that we were not loud enough or strong enough, or that a constitution wasn't strong enough to keep this bozo out.
I know. Well, you have things working against the good. And the whole world is getting a little weird. I mean, they just put a fascist in Argentina. Yeah. Of course, Argentina, don't cry for me, Argentina has never been the pinnacle of democracy. But you have it in Hungary, you have it now in Argentina, you have it in different places in the world. Even in Italy, our beloved Italy has this sort of a right-wing Giorgia Meloni running the country and taking it out on gays and trans people and just acting like a real fascist. She's a Mussolini supporter. I worry about this country very, very much. I feel that we're in a lot of trouble here.
A republic, if you can keep it. It's not promised.
That's right. Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
I dated him, by the way.
I've seen the pictures.
I have a legal note, everyone. Trump has continued continued to deny any wrongdoing and maintains his innocence in both state and federal criminal cases. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
And I'm a natural blonde. We'll be right back.
Thanksgiving is almost here, and you know we're talking politics at this table.
That's a great topic.
I'm enjoying this, I have to say.
Plus, our friend Jojo Siwa is stopping by, and Carla Hall is here with some delicious bites before the big meal. On America's most watched daytime talk show, ABC's The View.
Adam's bringing my favorite things to The View. Just for you.
That's right, we partnered with vendors for 50% off some of Oprah's favorite holiday gifts. But the clock is ticking, so start shopping now.
But let's talk about what's really important.
Yeah.
Okay? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are the... Oh, okay. Yeah, no, the Chiefs lost, okay, yesterday. Okay? They're the...
Who are the Chiefs?
They're football team.
Kansas City
Yeah,
Chiefs.
they're
He plays
football.
for them?
Yes, he does. They're the most talked about celebrity couple in the world right now. But in a new wide-ranging interview with the Wall Street Journal, Mr. Kelce said he doesn't want to talk about it too much for fear of pushing her away. Okay. So that's what you need to know. What do you think of this?
Well, then he did a full sit down with the Wall Street Journal, so I don't know if he maybe said too much already.
I just, you know, some of the things he said raised some red flags for me because he said
Share your
this.
red flags.
Okay. He said, the biggest thing to me, make sure I don't say anything that would push Taylor away. What is he hiding then? Because for me, I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly up front. My husband showed me all his stuff, and I was like, why am I marrying this man? but, you know, he's sending in his representative so that he doesn't offend her in any way. That's not real life. Like, people offend you sometimes.
Yeah, but you know what?
Make you upset.
I said something about him last week that people didn't like.
What did you
Because about his high school years, that he was very sexist in his high school years.
Yes.
But I give him a little bit of credit because she's a major star.
Yeah.
And he seems to not be intimidated by that, you know? Whereas, you know, like I'm old enough to remember when Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio were the
Who he
famous...
also dated.
Well, no, actually, I dated Babe Ruth. Because I was into baseball. Yeah, but even they did not last. You know, these couples they burn and then they'd go away.
Well, and I think part of it is the spotlight that's on that puts so much pressure on a relationship.
Like us talking
Like
about
us
it every
talking,
day.
and now I'm going to analyze it for a minute here. But I'll say what I give him credit for. So I'm the same age as Taylor and close to Travis's age. He pursued her, and with millennials, a lot of the men just do not go for the women. It's the like casual dating, not really trying. He wanted to meet her and went for her. I like that intentionality.
Why? Because his ex-girlfriend was really hot.
She was beautiful. She was really hot.
She wasn't as famous as this.
But the families are meeting, which I think that is a sign of commitment. It's a little early for for that. Taylor, I think it's a different type. She always did, if it's even just a palate cleanser, and actually somebody, but this isn't ginger with your sushi, Alyssa.
Who's the palate cleanser?
Well, I'm saying even if Travis is just a palate cleanser, my red flag is this.
Oh, I'm more of an amuse bouche.
She got out of a 7-year relationship and really jumped into this. You tend to want to give some time to get over the previous relationship. I root for them. I want to see her happy. I think she's one of the most talented musicians of my lifetime by far. But it seems like a little bit of...
Okay, so let me just use a Sunnyism. There was a red flag in here for me.
Yes.
And the red flag for me was when he admitted to thinking about retirement. And the quote was, he confesses he thinks about it nonstop. Quote, more than anyone could ever imagine. He is huge in the football world. He is huge in the football world. And then you
plays
go
the Tribeca
to Taylor
and-
Swift land. And I think that if you were thinking about next chapters, this would be lovely.
It's a very comfortable next chapter.
What are you saying?
It's
that he wants
very
to retire
hard. Well, I mean,
to
I
live
think
off
he
of her?
loves being no, not living. He has millions, but he's like on a podcast. He likes comedy. He wants to do, I think he's looking for a second act. Michael Strahan always says he was big among football players and men stopped him on the street. He went into morning TV and everyone stopped him on the street. That is from the mouth of a famous football player.
He got a little taste of that.
It is hard at that level of celebrity to find people with the right intentions. He seems like a very nice guy and I root for them, but I do think she has to be careful.
And go Chiefs. My family's from Kansas.
Drop the ball. That's what he did. He dropped the ball. Okay. You know, I like him, but he dropped the damn ball. We'll be right back.
Sarah, thank you, Whoopi. Hulu's Black Friday deal is back. And for a limited time, you can get Hulu with ads for just 99 cents per month for a year, and then the regular monthly price after that. Certain offer terms apply, so to find out more, scan the QR code on your screen or go to hulu.com. This deal ends on November 28th, so don't miss out.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, we want to help you stream your favorite Hulu shows this holiday season, so members of the audience are going home with Roku's ultimate lightning speed streaming player. The Roku.
Comes in handy. That comes in very, very handy because lots of families will have house guests for Thanksgiving. And one woman asked the Washington Post advice column for help with her in-laws who are coming in from another country and could stay for as long as 7 weeks. She said her husband's sibling used a strategy to keep their visits shorter in the past. You know, don't make things too comfortable, give them the worst room in the house. No TV, crappy mattress, and towels. You know what's really bothering me about all of this? People have become so whiny. I don't know why you can't say, listen, we can't do 7 weeks. We can do this, but we can't do 7 weeks. And you got a sibling. Why you can't have the sibling also have some responsibility? What the hell? Why can't you have this conflict? I don't know what to do. I'm going to be mean to...
Well, tormenting the in-laws is the worst response.
You lucky you got them.
They learned from their sister, though. They called the sister to ask why they never stay as long there. And the sister gave them this game plan. So it sounds like
They tried everything to make them uncomfortable. One thing they haven't tried, release the bed bugs.
the whole family's going to suffer.
I was so saddened by this because, as you know, as Whoopi just said, you don't know how long you're going to have these people. And Manny's parents, we lost them to COVID, and they lived with us for 3 months. It was the best time that my children had with their grandparents. I learned things about them. I learned that my father-in-law is a gossip and loves pop culture. And I would come home and he would say, do you know what's happening with Taylor Swift right now? And stuff like that. My mother-in-law would come down the stairs and say, would you mind if I made a paella tonight? No, I would not mind that at all. I had a great time. And at first, I will say, when I heard 3 months, I was like, wow, that's a long time, but okay. And it was the best experience.
But didn't we all live without kids? We all lived with our kids during the pandemic. My kids were with me, and
my kids too.
It's a lovely,
My kids were in LA.
Your kids can't move.
They haven't left yet.
I would get up in the morning and have coffee with my daughter. This was going, and the kid was even communicating with us at the time.
Yeah.
You know, but I enjoyed myself when we were there.
Listen, you know, if you're lucky enough to have people who want to come be with you, because you could be one of those families where y'all are not getting along.
Yeah.
There could be so many other things wrong. Just maybe 7 weeks is too long, and you have every right to say that because it's your house. But I don't think making them uncomfortable or doing stuff to them is the right way to go. Just say the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Welcome back. Emmy and Golden Globe winning actress Sarah Paulson captivates audiences with every character she takes on, no lie. And in the new play, Appropriate, she brings that talent back to Broadway for the very first time in 13 years. Please welcome back Sarah Paulson.
We're so happy to have you back here. It's been a long time.
It's been a very long time.
I know.
I'm so happy. Some new faces. Nice to see you.
Oh, there's a lot of changes going on here over the years. So you're heading back to Broadway after 13 years.
Yes.
And you're no stranger to the stage. You've done a lot of plays. How are you feeling about making the return?
I sort of feel a little bit like a rusty old wagon because there's a different set of muscles you need to perform on stage live in front of an audience, and I have been very lucky and have been working a lot in film and television, so I just feel a little like my muscles have atrophied.
Yeah.
I'm working out, but it's
you have to really think about what did I eat? So
what did I eat? Yeah, exactly. Not too much ice cream to muck up the cord. Yeah.
Well, you're such a master at transforming into all the different iconic roles you've played, from Marcia Clark on The People vs. O.J. Simpson to so many different roles in American Horror Story. Now, I hear in this latest role, you're sort of channeling your inner Real Housewife. Can you tell us about that?
So I've sort of, I work with a woman named Julia Crockett who helps me sort of physically transform into some people. I've played a lot of real people, and so I need to kind of approximate some physical communication to an audience of a visual image that reminds them of the person. So I've been watching Chimp Empire on Netflix, and I've been watching The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. There's one character named, she's not an actress, she's a character on this show. She's a person, I guess, Meredith Marks. And she has a particular intensity that I have decided to abscond with and try to turn some of that energy into this person I'm playing. Yeah.
Well, you've called the stage the closest thing to church for you.
Yes.
But you also had what you described as one of the greatest days of your life and the worst day of your best friend Amanda Pete's life while you were sitting in the audience for a show.
We were at an opening night of a play, and I will not name the play because this is an embarrassing story, where we basically started laughing at a very inappropriate moment where someone was very emotional on stage, and we found something to be very funny, and I turned to her and whispered about something I noticed on the stage, and we both started laughing so hard that the people sitting next to us got very offended.
Shush?
We got shush, but then we pretended to sob because this is what was happening on stage was very emotional, and now I'm worried that there's going to be like that Taylor Swift song, Karma's My Boyfriend. So I'm worried that now I'm on stage and perhaps someone's going to pay the favor to me by laughing.
Brilliant switch, though. Go to the sob.
Yeah,
Go to the sob. Trained actress.
Yeah. It was like, it was a real thing.
You know, I did that once in college in a music class.
And I bet it worked.
And the professor thought that we were laughing at La Boheme or something. And then I started crying because I had taken a diet pill that day. And it made me hyper and crazy.
I don't have the same excuse.
Were you
It just
on
made me
something?
hyper.
No.
I was just on high on my own supply, I suppose.
Let me ask you this. You had the opportunity to work alongside Matthew Perry and Aaron Sorkin's Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. And, of course, we're all mourning his passing. How will you remember him?
Oh, I just remember him as one of the most generous people on the planet. And I was at a particular place in my career where I needed that job very desperately. And he, because of his friendship with Amanda Peet, who was my best friend at the time, who was also on the show, they had done a movie together called The Whole Nine Yards.
Oh, yeah.
So he asked me to meet him in the parking lot for my final audition, and I got in his car, and he ran the whole scene with me multiple times so that I could have, a leg up on the other performer, and I did get the job. So I sort of credit him with taking that extra time, and he absolutely did not need to do that. And he was just the kind of person that if you made him laugh or if you made him smile, you felt like you had really arrived. And I had the great pleasure of making him laugh a couple of times, and it made me feel really good.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's a wonderful
So let's talk about your personal life.
Oh, yes. What a hairpin turn, Joy.
So you've been with your lovely partner, Holland Taylor, who I did the vagina monologues with Holland.
You did?
Yes. So I loved her. She was a terrific
She's
gal.
great, yeah.
And you've been with her for many years now.
8 years.
8
almost
years.
9, yeah.
Wow.
And it seems like the universe threw you a lot of signs that she was the one. And you have made, and you say that it has made, your relationship with her has made everything else make sense. Explain that.
I guess I sort of mean I am thrilled and I feel very lucky to be with a person who is smarter, wiser, wittier, than I, and that just makes my life better in every possible way, and helps me want to be a better person and a more fully realized person. And she just also makes me feel seen, which I think is the most important gift you can give to any person.
Absolutely.
So yes, and I actually had her picture on my refrigerator, having been at for 10 years before we were together.
Wow.
Which sounds strange, but we were at a dinner party with the great Buck Henry, and he took this photograph of myself and Allison Janney, who was at this dinner party, and Holland on top of this Lamborghini that was in front of this restaurant. That we walked out and we were like, what? And we all jumped on top of the car and took this picture, and he sent us all copies, and it was on my refrigerator in my little apartment in West Hollywood for 10 years before we...
Wow.
So it was sort of a weird...
Did you have a crush on her at that time?
No, I didn't. No, I did not. No, I didn't. I didn't. I mean, maybe something was percolating and it was unbeknownst to me, but there she was in my kitchen.
I was dying to ask you. So you made a surprise guest appearance on a phenomenal, iconic episode of The Bear. The show was brilliant, and this episode alone, I think, deserves all the awards. How did this come about? There's so many iconic actors in one episode of a TV show, and why did you want to be part of it?
Well, I thought the show was so extraordinary. I watched the first season. I emailed Christopher Storer, who created the show, and just wrote him a fan letter, and then a year later he said, do you want to come do it? And I didn't read the script. I just said, please, yes, please. And I just showed up and didn't know Jamie Lee was doing it, and Bob Odenkirk and John Mulaney, everybody. It was just it was the most chaotic, insane episode of television, but I've never worked on something where there was so much peace. It was so incongruous with what we were doing. Everybody was so excited to be there, and there were 5 cameras going, and so, you're just sort of like doing a play.
That episode will make everyone feel better about their holidays.
Exactly.
So.
Watch it before.
Watch that and then invite everyone over, and you'll feel like everything's going to go okay.
Well, you're also best friends with Pedro Pascal.
Yes, indeed.
Since you were 19.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And he's having such a moment right now.
He's having such a moment. It's sort of irritating. I'm like, why don't you relax? Why are you lapping me? I feel really upset about this.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about him being dubbed the internet's daddy?
I mean... Yeah, sure. I mean, he feels like my baby brother, so we've known each other since we were 18, almost 19 years old.
Wow.
I always say 19. He said it was 18.
Really?
Yeah.
So 5 years.
So, yeah, just a couple of years.
And he credits you a lot with his success.
Well, as well he should.
And on that note, we're going to go and come back with more with Sarah Paulson. Sonny, I think it's you.
It is me.
They're gone.
You're one of my best friends in my head because we have something in common.
We do.
We donate to animal rescues.
As much as possible.
We rescue a lot of animals. And so one day I was scrolling all the rescue pages and I see that this little dog got hit by a car and left for dead at the side of the road. So I immediately call the rescue and I say, I'll pay for the surgery. And I was told Sarah Paulson already paid for the surgery. And I said, oh my goodness, okay, is there anything else I can do to help? And I was told you can adopt her. And
the dog, not
the
Sarah.
dog.
This is our official communication of the world that you are, in fact, my mother.
Yes, exactly. This is our announcement. But I did adopt the dog.
Yes. Didn't you have your niece? Somebody flew out to get the dog.
Yes,
in California.
Sally's niece,
the
owner
that's right.
of the rescue, flew
Sally's
out to
Rescue,
New York with her.
Yeah.
She had just had the surgery, and we have someone that wants to meet you.
No!
Saving her life.
No!
We do.
No! Oh, no!
So the story is that my mother bonded with this dog. It's supposed to be my dog. The dog, we share the dog, basically. The dog is at my house.
Name.
The Coco Chanel.
And look at the outfit.
There we go.
Oh.
So she wants to meet you.
What a
So thank you for saving her life.
You're so welcome.
She has changed my mother's life. My mother didn't like to drive before. She didn't like to go out shopping. And now she has her companion that sits in the car with her. And
It's me. It's me.
So thank you for...
You're so welcome. I just think it's one of the most noble things you can do in life is take care of those who can't take care of them.
I agree. So I'm basically running an animal farm.
Me as well.
As you know.
I really, if I get one more animal,
Well, my husband, I wanted to adopt 2 Nigerian dwarf goats.
Oh, sure.
And my husband
does.
I don't know.
Who
I just
doesn't?
did. I saw a rescue. I wanted to do it, and my husband basically said, "It's me or the it's me or the goats." Like,
And so
I
he's
can't.
out now and the goats are in.
No, unfortunately, I kept him. But I hear you have a similar situation.
I do. I have, when I got my 3rd dog, Holland said, when I left to go help my friend find an animal, she said, if you come back with a dog, I'm going to question whether or not this relationship has a future. And I was like, okay. And then I called her from the rescue and said, I think I found my son. And then I brought him home. And
How are they adjusting this scene? Like, you have
I have 3 dogs in. Oh, I have 3 dogs. Oh, no one can hear me, darling.
She's blocking your mic.
It's okay. No one wants to hear me talk anymore.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
My mom says she's the best thing that's happened to her.
Oh, I'm so glad. She's perfect. But yeah, it's been hard having dogs. In
3, and
I have 3 dogs in Manhattan.
She's so
It's
cute.
really.
She's so adorable.
She's really cute.
She's adorable.
You can see why everybody wanted to save her.
Yeah.
Oh,
The ears.
beautiful.
But I like the ones that aren't so cute.
I do
I like
too.
the little
I know. I like the ones
I like
that,
the senior ones.
I like the senior
I
ones.
adopted
Toothless
senior ones.
If you're toothless, come my way and
Same.
We're going to say thanks to Sarah Paulson.
Thank you.
Her performance of the new show Appropriate begins November 29th at the Hayes Theater. And we, of course, will be right back.
Well, it's time to start your holiday shopping. So today we have some great gift ideas from my style icon, the CEO of Love Scene, Jenna Lyons, and our sponsor, Klarna. And if you scan the QR code on your screen, you can get $20 off your first order with Klarna. First question, welcome, Jenna.
Nice to see you again.
She knows I fan out over her. So before we get to the products, what are some tips for holiday shopping this year?
Well, I don't know if any of you are like me, but I have a tendency to go a little crazy. So what happens is I start with one thing and then I add, and then at the end of the year, my accountant calls me and says, what have you done? And so one of the things that I realized that Klarna does that actually is super helpful is you can actually make 4 payments and know they're interest-free. So basically you can buy it and you can spread it out, which is helpful. And the other thing, I have a tendency to like look at something and fall in love with it. Like, I want your dress. And
I want your necklace.
Okay, well, we can have that. And you can actually take a picture of it in the app and then send it in and it'll find it for you. Because I am often with my son and he's like, I love those shoes or I love that bag and I don't know what it is. So I can like take a picture on the street and be like,
wow.
So if you see me doing that in the back, or if any of you see me doing it, that's just me. Just
I love it.
Shopping, always shopping.
Well, then let's get shopping. Brought some products that you love. Tell us about these products that you brought that you love.
Okay, so we obviously have a thing for sparkly things, diamonds, and this is a starter pack. So for somebody who's actually starting off, so this is a great thing for like, you know, a niece, a nephew, a daughter. There's these beautiful little drop earrings, which
Beautiful.
I love. Like again, this is a starter pack. You can work your way up or not. This is a beautiful little charm necklace that I think is great, and this one's really simple. Has a little black.
Oh, it has a black lace.
And it's actually very simple, so good again for like a younger person, someone who's graduating from college or getting to that age where they don't need a full-blown thing like
we like.
but you know.
Yes.
And then the next one, I love a classic tennis shoe. I usually wear them as suits, so I like to dress things up and down. So I always keep a really fresh pair of tennis shoes.
These are great.
They're great. They're super simple, and what's nice about them, these are leather, so they don't get as dirty because usually in New York, so you can wash them off, which I actually really love.
Yes.
So that with a little suit, good for a girl or guy.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're cute. And this, I have a thing with lighting, so I love soft, glowy light. And what I love about this is the entire thing is light. It's not a separate shade, so the actual shade lights up. And it's great.
And it makes you look better, the softer light, by the way. Gives you a nice
Hell
look.
yes. Anybody, that's the first thing first thing I do when I walk into a room is turn down the light.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. I actually do that. This bag is from a company called Telfar.
I have Telfar.
You do?
Yes, I do.
This is a young designer. He's actually new and he's not as up and coming now. Everyone knows his name, but this is his signature bag. And I like this because this is also super utilitarian. You have a big strap.
And they're big.
And I have a lot of stuff. And then you also have like a little baby one that you can carry if you want to do something like a little bit more simple.
And you can stick that in there.
Yes.
Especially if you get the same color.
Okay, and then you can put this in there.
Okay, then you can do a lot of things. I see everything. I can like take a shoe, you know, I I get it. I get it.
Plug this now.
See?
Okay,
See?
thanks.
Our thanks to Jenna Lyons and our sponsor Klarna. To help you shop smarter, we want to tell you one more time to scan this QR code to get $20 off the first time you shop with Klarna. And we'll be right back.
Moonlight reflections in your eyes. A cosmic equation is a strong guide. Nebulous swirl, a captivating scene. In the galactic gaze where our souls convene. Lost in the rhythm of a pulsar's embrace. In gaze, I find a sacred space. Amongst the stars, our love finds place. In the galactic gaze, a timeless grace. Galactic gate, a celestial trance. In the universe where hearts dance. Constellations whisper secrets untold. In the galactic gaze, love unfolds. Through the stormy fields down. In the galactic gaze we find red. Unleash your emotions cascade.